Yo, what is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 58 of our Tracksuit to the Top series here with Lewis FC in the Premier League. Hopefully you guys are good. Today I've got for you a live com against Nottingham Forest, a big game for us this one. Hopefully we can get off, to a winning start in the Premier League during live comms. The last two we've won, which has been really impressive. If we can make it 3 out of 3 against slightly weaker teams, that would be fantastic. Obviously, if you missed last episode, it was against Sunderland, but I drew attention to the fact we have some very tough fixtures towards the end of the year, and kind of towards the end of the midway point of the season. I'll show you the fixture so you can see. But it's going to be this game and the Swansea game that we really need to get some points from in an ideal scenario, because City, Newcastle, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, not going to be easy games to get a lot from. But anyway, since the last episode, which was against Sunderland, we've played 5, won 1, drawn 2, lost 2. Not ideal, I guess, and that we had our biggest defeat probably of this save ever in a league game, and that came against Tottenham. As you can see, they beat us 5-0 very comprehensively. We were 2-0 down, we went a bit more attacking, and they scored nearly immediately in the second half, and from there we were on a slippery slope, just trying to, I guess, remain slightly competitive, but ultimately they ran out comfortable winners. Anyway, the next result was another game against a London-based team, and this was at home against West Ham. We ended up drawing 2-2. Good points in the end, 10 shots on target, 20 shots in total. We had the better of the play, perhaps a little unlucky only to draw it, but it's a good result nevertheless, I guess. Anyway, the next one was against Brighton, perhaps the one game in this run of fixtures that I would have wanted to win the most, because they are one of the relegation rivals that we have. But as you can see, looking at the stats, they ran out 2-1 winners. Theo Walcott getting the decisive goal for them there. Ultimately, this game, it was 50-50, but we just didn't take chances that came our way. And hopefully that's not going to cost us, because they really are games we need to win. Anyway, the only win we got in our last 5 was actually away against QPR. An unexpected result, but we were really clinical in front of goal this game. As you can see, Matthew Lewis and Nacho both grabbing themselves a goal, and Casper De Norre as well grabbing one. I believe that was from the penalty spot. He's obviously come into the squad, De Norre, last year. Didn't play as much football as I expected him to, and this year he's not played great, so good to see him get on the score sheet. Maybe he can kick on from that performance. But yeah, that was a very good and unexpected win. And the last result in this run of fixtures was away against Hull, and as you can see, actually Casper De Norre's goal came in this game from the penalty spot, which is what I was thinking of. But we drew 2-2 with Hull. Perhaps a little bit fortunate, I guess, to get the point, but a fantastic, well-earned point. We defended very, very well, and obviously, to get a point away against Hull is a pretty impressive performance, because if we look at their history, last year they finished 4th, and they really are kind of a team on the rise. So that was a very, very good away point, I guess. But anyway, looking at the league table after 12 games, 12? Yeah, 12 games. We're in 7th, which is pretty impressive. We've won 5, drawn 3, lost at 4. Obviously, our last 5 games of this half the season preceding the game that we've got today and the Swansea game were against, what you'd consider to be higher stature Premier League teams, so they're not going to be easy. So ideally, I'd like to see us reach our halfway point total of 19 points by today. Of course, that number that I'm pulling out is because you need roughly, if history is to be believed, 38 points to stay up in the Premier League. We have 18, so one more point would see us get halfway there with, a few games to spare. Anyway, looking at the league, perhaps shockingly, some of you guys may notice, Manchester United, they're just above the relegation zone. They've just appointed Martineau. They released Jurgen Klopp, which is a little bit surprising. Well, I guess it's not considering their league position, but for him to be doing that bad with them. But all in all, if we could get a good result today, that'd be fantastic. Looking at the league, it is very close, but we do have quite a nice little breathing room onto Nottingham Forest. A win here would see us pull 10 points away from them, or rather 11 points away from them, which would be very nice. But anyway, let's have a look at Forest, because they are our former, our former affiliates of a few years ago, you guys may remember. You can see, looking at it, last year they finished 10th in the Premier League. They've had the last 3 years in the Premier League. In their first season they finished 7th, which of course is where we find ourselves now. They also have continental rep, which is a little bit surprising. And their key player is Britt Assombalonga, who is a very, very good player. Unfortunately, obviously, in real life, if you haven't heard, I think he dislocated his knee, which is a real shame because obviously I have a bit of an affinity from him and with him from my Peterborough save. So it's a bit of a shame that he is injured. Anyway, let's get into today's game. In the early kick-off, Everton and Liverpool drawing 1-1 in the Merseyside derby. Looking at how we're going to set up today, we're going to set up with a 4-4-2. All in all, the team's been performing pretty well. You can see Iheanacho and Matthew Lewis with 14 goals between them. I believe I pulled out some number, like if those two players got 25 goals between them, I thought we'd stay up. That was factoring in for a few other midfielders and such actually contributing a little bit more on the scoreline. I think realistically we need them to score probably 30, 35 goals between them to see us stay up. But anyway, look at the average ratings just real quick. You can see Borthwick Jackson played 3 games, but played very well in those 3 games. Harry Yann's really been the standout first team regular this year so far, the centre-back. Obviously coming in for £1.7 million, and he's looking like an absolute bargain. Performed well in Israel for the last 3 years before moving to us, and he's continued his fine form here. But anyway, let's submit our team. You may notice that we have a few players missing. Rolando Aarons has been away on international duty for most of this month with Jamaica. I'm not sure what international tournament it is. I guess we can just check real quick. Okay, so it's the Caribbean Championships. But yeah, so he's been involved in that a little bit. And also before that, they had their World Cup qualifiers as well. So he's actually been out of the side for about a month, which is a long, long time to be, I guess, not in the team. And so we have missed him out on the left hand side, and Sonogo's had to do a job for us. But anyway, team all in all looks pretty solid. Suso obviously came in on loan. I think last episode I talked about that. He hasn't really performed, if I'm honest. Obviously we got him on loan from who would it have been on loan from? Juventus, who signed him for £11 million, and he doesn't look like an £11 million player, but who knows, maybe he can step things up today. Granted, he has appeared 4 times off the bench and only started 2, so this is perhaps an opportunity for him to show what he's made of, I guess, and put in a good level of performance. Anyway, we'll see how we get on here. Sonogo cutting inside Suso. Matthew Lewis, straight from kickoff, why not? Why not? 1-0, 20 seconds in. Iheanacho, his 100th goal of his career. What a start that is. Take a bow, my son. Take a bow. I don't think Nottingham Forest touched the ball during the entirety of that, which is kind of impressive. Oh, they did actually. Cohen with the assist. Well, besides that, I don't think they had to touch the ball from kickoff. What a start that is. And that kind of... This year's been surprising. I wasn't sure how the team was going to step up this year to the the challenge of the Premier League from the Championship. And they've made that transition really well. Players are performing well. You know, we're actually scoring a lot. And I think a common problem for teams that don't stay up in the Premier League is they don't have goal scorers. And we have 2. Is that offside? It is offside. But obviously we have 2 in Matthew Lewis and Assombalonga. And obviously at the start of the season I talked about how I wanted to play on counter. You may notice that kind of since probably the 2nd episode, I've gone back to just the attacking 4-4-2 and this kind of attitude of we're going to outscore the people we play against. We're not the strongest team defensively, but we have some very good speedy attackers and they benefit and suit us very well. Assombalonga has just scored an absolute belter though, which is a little bit disappointing. Outside the area, on the turn I think this was. Yeah, well, he scored once and it was given offside, and then he scored again and it's a screamer, so I guess it was to be expected that he was going to score eventually with some of the efforts he was having. But obviously we need to beat Forest if we can. They've not got the strongest team, if I'm honest, and wow, is that Harry Maguire with the goal? It is, the centre-back. But Forest don't have the strongest team. Like, Assombalonga is a good player, but if he's your key Premier League player, you are never, at least in my eyes, going to be pushing anywhere other than trying to avoid relegation. So we need to get a win here. We are at home as well, and we have had a very good home record so far this season. Let's push higher up and play at a higher, more direct tempo. I want us to really up the tempo and really apply some pressure, I guess, to Forest. But anyway, hopefully our keeper Don't do something... Oh my god, I hate this match engine. Chucks and EK with the goal. I really hope the January update, or the transfer update, fixes stuff like this. Oh my gosh. Kick it, you Wazuk. I have no words. Well, Forest have scored 3 goals from 3 shots. I kind of feel like that third one, there's not a lot we can do about it. But hopefully we can up things here. Denor, Ihi, Nacho, Lewis is in the centre, or you can just run. Oh, he just didn't have the finish. He was playing so well until he got the ball at his feet and went to pull and shoot. If this finishes 3-1 at the break, it could be worse. But really, I feel a little bit hard done by. Obviously, that's the nature of the beast, I guess. They scored from a set piece with Harry Maguire. They obviously got a little bit fortunate with the third goal, which was a defensive slip-up. But we've just not been good enough right now. And I'm going to let the players know exactly that. Who's not been performing? Sonogo's had a terrible game on the out on the left. I haven't really got the option to put someone on the left, unfortunately. Actually, we can play Suso. I'm going to rotate Suso and Sonogo's positioning. I'm also going to bring on Thompson for Joe Allen. I have faith in Sonogo to improve in this second half. Harayan having I guess what's the word? It's not like him, I guess, to be playing as bad as he's playing. He's been a rock in our team, and right now he's got the worst rating of any defender, which is disappointing. But we'll see how we get on here. Harayan, don't get sent off. Whatever you do, do not get sent off. He's got a yellow. I'm really tempted. I'm going to take him off. I can't take the risk. He's having a bad game. He's going to be frustrated. Already on a yellow card. And Nico with the effort. Rebound is buried in by Forest. And we are being destroyed here. I mean, they've taken the chances that have come their way well. They've had 6 shots on target. And yes, that free kick counts as one of them. But Kouakou just couldn't get up to his feet and react fast enough. And Van Dyson is there to bury it. The question is, how do I change this system? And I think the answer is that we just play even faster. And we throw a few more men forward. So we'll see how this gets on. We will see how this gets on. But yeah, it's been a poor performance this. I was hoping that we could get a win here, because we have got a really tough run into the end of the season, obviously, but also the end of the year, calendar year wise. And this performance hasn't been great, although we have got 1 goal back. Can we get 2 more? It's an own goal, but we'll take it. Lewis wants to get the ball out of the net. I'm going to give a little team talk on the sideline. I'm going to ask them to show some passion. Denor whips it in. Headed away. Don't get hit on the break, whatever we do. Assombalonga is fast. He is rapid. We need to stop him. We need to stop him. He's like a train. And he just has a set destination and he wants to make it there with the ball at his feet. Although Sonogo picks it up. Prove to the people why I've not subbed you off, Sonogo, despite not having a good game. He's the kind of player who'll just have one moment of magic, and who knows, maybe that moment is still on the cards. Working the ball quite nicely here. Garcia going wide, whips in the ball. Ihi Nacho buries it. Could it happen, really? Could it happen? It's 4-3. The comeback is on. Garcia whips in the ball. The right back who hasn't played a load of first-team football for us this year and actually was dropped to begin with. And Mick Tyson was playing at right back, but decided to give him a few games, and he's been performing in that right back spot. But we need 1 more goal to make anything of this. Right. I've got to throw men forward, unfortunately. Not something I'd normally like to do, and we could leave ourselves exposed at the back, but at this point, we just have to throw men forward for the last 5 minutes and hope that we can get something here. We've had a good second half. Unfortunately, we left ourselves with a lot to do at half time, and even going down 4-1, and time is just against us here, unfortunately. what looked like it could have become a sensational comeback is just not going to happen, I don't think, unless Denor can do something, which he can't. He gives them a goal kick. That's going to be the game. Forest with a 4-3 win. Looking at it, it was a 50-50 game. Perhaps we deserve more. Just I feel like if there'd been a little bit more time, we would have been able to get the win there. But unfortunately, a football match is only 90 minutes long. But nevertheless, we're doing okay. We dropped down to 8th, and we do have a game extra played on a lot of teams behind us, which is a little bit concerning. But yeah, unfortunate, but can't really complain too much because we didn't play great. But anyway, looking at the fixtures coming up, I think the next game I'm going to do is going to be the Cardiff game, just because that's, or maybe the Reading game. I might do the Reading game, because both those games are fairly winnable. Obviously, we did Stoke earlier on in the year, and as much as I'd like to do these games against the bigger teams, and we might get 1 or 2 points against them if we get lucky, realistically, I don't fancy live coming games where there's a high percentage chance we are just going to get annihilated, because it ain't that fun to watch and it isn't that fun to commentate. But anyway, hopefully I'll see you guys for the Reading game. That will be just inside the January transfer window, so who knows, maybe there'll be a few new players on the horizons. Looking at the finances, we have got a little bit of money coming in, and as you can see, we have been making money the last few months. Obviously, the Premier League TV money helps a lot with that, and also because of how high we are in the league, we might be able to change our expectations depending on where we end up. But anyway, hopefully I'll see you guys on the next episode. As always, thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed, smash the like button. And other than that, it is me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.